She never expected her quiet life to explode in front of the media, all because of one outrageous demand from her CEO. Pretend love, fake smiles, and hidden intentions would soon blur the line between duty and desire. In a world where scandals can ruin reputations overnight, the game of appearances becomes dangerously real. Can she survive the lies without losing her heart or herself? She stared at the CEO's text, disbelief freezing her. "I need you to be my girlfriend for the press," it read. The absurdity hit her like a cold wave, yet curiosity and something darker flickered in her chest. Could she really pretend to be in love? The next morning, she arrived at the office with her usual calm demeanor, hiding the storm inside. Her colleagues whispered, sensing tension but clueless about the chaos brewing behind her polite smile. He appeared in the lobby, impeccably dressed, eyes scanning the room until they landed on her. That glance carried authority, mischief, and a dangerous kind of charm she couldn't ignore. "Are you ready?" he asked, voice low but commanding, as if the question itself held more weight than it should. She nodded, unsure if she was agreeing to the act or surrendering to something far more thrilling. Every step into the media event felt surreal. Flashing cameras, murmurs, and carefully placed smiles painted a scene that wasn't hers but had to be convincing. She wondered if she could endure the charade without cracking. He led her to the stage, hands brushing slightly, each touch sparking a fire she wasn't ready to acknowledge. Pretend love, they called it, but the line between fake and real began to blur with every glance. The journalists bombarded them with questions, her mind racing to find safe, neutral answers. Every time she spoke, his eyes held hers, and she felt a dizzying pull between compliance and defiance. Backstage, he leaned close, whispering instructions and teasing remarks. Her pulse quickened, betraying her controlled expression. "Focus on the act," he murmured, though his smirk suggested he knew it was more than that. During the cocktail reception, she laughed at a joke he didn't even make, feeling absurdly human under his watchful gaze. Pretending was exhausting, yet the thrill of proximity intoxicated her more than she wanted to admit. A sudden photo flash caught her off guard, his hand brushing hers as he adjusted her sleeve. The contact was brief but electric, leaving her thoughts scattered and heart racing faster than she expected. She excused herself to the restroom, trying to regain composure. The mirror reflected someone unrecognizable, nervous, flustered, yet strangely exhilarated by a situation she swore she would never enjoy. Returning to the event, she noticed his attention shifting toward her in subtle ways, small gestures meant to communicate something beyond the public eye. The game was dangerous, and she was already losing control. A colleague approached, gossiping about her new relationship with the CEO. She forced a smile, careful not to betray the secret, while the CEO stood nearby, silently amused by her careful deception. Later, in the limousine heading back, silence filled the space, punctuated only by the occasional glance between them. Pretend intimacy was exhausting, yet the tension between reality and performance was undeniable. She felt a mix of frustration and excitement when he brushed against her arm. Not quite accidental, not quite deliberate. Each touch teased her, reminding her how thin the line between fake and real had become. The next morning, she rehearsed answers to anticipated questions. She wondered if she could maintain the illusion for the long haul without unraveling or giving in to the unexpected desire stirring inside. At the office, whispers followed her, co-workers curious and slightly envious. Pretending to be someone else's partner in public had already begun to change how they perceived her and perhaps how she perceived herself. He approached her desk, casual but deliberate, his hand brushing a stack of papers to touch hers. The smallest contact set her nerves on edge, a subtle thrill of forbidden closeness she couldn't deny. "Lunch?" he asked, tone light, eyes heavy with unspoken amusement. She hesitated, knowing it was part of the act, yet her pulse betrayed a secret longing she didn't want to name. The restaurant was crowded, yet he made her feel as though the world existed only for their staged romance. She caught herself laughing, genuinely this time, and wondered how much of the act had already become real. Returning to the office, a sudden spill of coffee brought her hand into his, an excuse to linger closer than protocol allowed. Her heart thumped audibly in her chest, betraying every attempt at composure. A photographer loitered near the entrance, pretending to be casual. She realized they were being watched constantly, every move scrutinized. Pretend love had become a delicate, nerve-wracking performance. That evening, she recounted the day in private, shaking at the intensity of her emotions. The act was no longer just for the press, it had stirred feelings she wasn't ready to confront. The CEO's text arrived again. "Tomorrow will be more complicated." She stared at the screen, apprehension and a strange anticipation coiling inside her. What game was he planning, and would she survive the next round? Late into the night, she imagined every possible scenario, each more scandalous or romantic than the last. Pretend love was no longer a shield, it was a spark, dangerous and irresistible. By morning, her reflection revealed a woman both terrified and exhilarated. The lines between truth and performance had blurred, and she could feel the coming storm of emotion that would challenge everything she thought she knew. She arrived at the office, nerves taut, anticipating the CEO's next move. His smirk greeted her before he even spoke, a silent promise of chaos disguised as charm. Pretend love had become their silent language, each glance loaded with playful tension and unspoken rules. The morning meeting dragged on, but every time his gaze met hers, her heartbeat stumbled. Pretending was exhausting, yet thrilling, and she caught herself wondering if he enjoyed the act or the effect he had on her. A sudden text from him read, "Meet me on the rooftop after work." Alone. Her stomach twisted. Alone. Was it part of the act or something dangerously real? Curiosity won over caution as she agreed. The rooftop was deserted except for the city lights and the cool breeze. He leaned against the railing, watching her approach with casual elegance. "I hope you're enjoying our little farce," he teased, eyes glinting with mischief. She tried to maintain composure, but the thrill of secrecy made her pulse race. Pretend love was one thing in public, entirely another when private moments teased boundaries she wasn't ready to cross. His hand brushed hers unexpectedly, lingering longer than necessary. The contact sent jolts of warmth up her arm, and she realized the line between fake and real was dangerously thin. "You're tense," he observed, voice low. She denied it, though her flushed cheeks betrayed the truth. He smirked, clearly enjoying the subtle chaos he'd caused. They watched the city in silence, the night enveloping them. Each stolen glance and touch carried unspoken promises, their pretend love seeping into a realm neither was ready to name. A sudden gust of wind tangled her hair, and he leaned closer, helping her. The closeness sparked a shiver she couldn't explain. Pretending had become intoxicating, a dangerous game of hearts and appearances. She laughed nervously, trying to dismiss the tension, but he caught her hand. "Don't pretend with me," he whispered, a playful challenge and a confession intertwined. Her breath hitched, caught between excitement and fear. The following day, office gossip intensified. Pretending in public was exhausting, yet she noticed his protective glances, subtle touches, and teasing smirks that left her cheeks burning. During a meeting, his hand brushed hers accidentally or not. She felt every nerve in her body ignite. Pretend love was becoming dangerously thrilling, each day erasing the line between act and reality. A surprise lunch meeting turned personal, with jokes and laughter spilling freely. Pretending was tiring, yet every shared smile made it deliciously addictive, and she found herself craving moments that were supposed to be staged. Later she stumbled on a photographer trying to capture them unawares. Panic surged, but he held her close, guiding her past, the intimacy unnecessary yet electrifying. The elevator ride was torturous. The confined space amplified every accidental touch, every stolen glance, and her pulse raced, betraying the chaos brewing inside her. A weekend charity gala forced them into public couple mode. Flashing cameras, whispers, and staged smiles created a battlefield of emotions, and she found herself laughing at his private jokes amid the public act. In a quiet corridor, he caught her hand, spinning her into a private corner. Pretend love became playfulness, charged with tension, teasing the boundaries of what was real and what was merely performance. Her co-workers marveled at their apparent chemistry. Pretend love had transformed into a spectacle, both absurd and intoxicating, with every glance hinting at a story untold. During a company retreat, small gestures turned daring hand touches during walks, lingering eye contact, playful teasing that left her breathless and unsure of her own heart. A text in the middle of the night, "Meet me by the fountain. I have a challenge for you." Her mind raced. What challenge could the CEO conjure, and why did her heart leap with anticipation? At the fountain, the city quiet around them, he held her gaze, teasing and daring her simultaneously. Pretend love was a dance of nerves, yet she realized she was dancing dangerously close to the truth. He spun a ridiculous story for the press rehearsal, forcing her into awkward positions. She laughed despite herself, the absurdity sweetened by his proximity and subtle touches that lingered just long enough. During a rooftop photo shoot, a playful shove into his arms triggered genuine laughter. Pretend love had become so convincing, she wondered if it had always been real beneath the act. Back at the office, whispers escalated. Every interaction was scrutinized, and she found herself performing both for the public and for him, a tangled web of duty, desire, and temptation. He caught her in the stairwell, pressing her against the wall under the pretense of a casual hug. Her pulse surged. Pretend love had become dangerously real in the quietest moments. An after-work meeting led to coffee in a deserted cafe. Pretending was exhausting, yet the stolen moments, playful touches, and teasing smiles were addicting, blurring reality with performance. Her reflection in the glass revealed a woman exhilarated and terrified. Pretend love had ensnared her, each moment binding her tighter to the man she was supposed to keep at a professional distance. The final email of the day hinted at tomorrow's chaos. Dress for impact. Her pulse quickened, the line between acting and feeling dissolving. Pretend love was no longer a game, her heart was on the line. The next morning she arrived in an outfit carefully chosen to impress without overdoing it. He smirked at her entrance, clearly approving, and she felt an unexpected thrill at being noticed by him beyond the public eye. During the press briefing, their smiles and gestures were flawless, yet every touch and glance carried a tension neither wanted to admit. Pretend love had begun to feel real, frighteningly real. After the event, he cornered her in the elevator, whispering playful insults that made her cheeks burn. Each word, each smirk, was a spark igniting feelings she had sworn to resist. At lunch, their table was crowded, yet he leaned closer than necessary, joking, teasing, testing boundaries. Her laughter became a shield, hiding the storm of emotions behind a practiced smile. Later, he asked for a rehearsal in private. Pretend love had evolved into a dangerous game, where every movement, word, and glance could betray the line between performance and reality. She tried to maintain composure, but the heat of his gaze was inescapable. Every accidental touch, every playful smirk sent shivers down her spine, confusing the act with real desire. A surprise after-hours walk brought them to a quiet park. The night air was charged, and their conversation, playful yet intimate, made the pretend act almost impossible to sustain without feeling something real. He held her hand by accident, claiming to guide her along the path. Her pulse raced, the pretense melting into thrilling proximity, and she realized pretending was no longer a simple role. It had become intoxicating. During a charity auction, they posed for photos, smiles polished for the cameras. Behind the lens, subtle touches and whispers carried a private language, full of teasing and promise beyond the staged scenario. Returning to the office, whispers grew louder, colleagues marveling at their chemistry. Pretend love had become a spectacle, yet she found herself genuinely anticipating each interaction with him. In the stairwell, a playful shove into the wall caused both to laugh nervously. His hands lingered just long enough, sending sparks of tension that neither could deny. Pretend love was flirting with dangerous reality. A weekend retreat forced them into shared activities, playful competitions, and staged intimacy. Yet with every laugh, every brush of hands, the act became a deliciously real connection neither could fully control. He texted late at night, "Meet me at the office rooftop." Important. Her heart raced, curious and nervous. Every meeting now carried the risk of crossing the line between pretending and feeling. At the rooftop, city lights twinkling below, he made her laugh with ridiculous reenactments of their press interactions. Pretend love became a private theater, full of teasing, flirtation, and subtle sparks of attraction. The next morning, her reflection revealed someone altered by the act. Pretend love had changed her. She laughed more freely, blushed more easily, and felt alive in ways she hadn't anticipated. During a company event, a staged toast turned intimate when he raised her glass, eyes lingering. Pretend love was becoming dangerously convincing, and she couldn't tell whether it was entirely an act anymore. Backstage, he whispered, teasing instructions, brushing her hair aside. The intimacy, though part of the act, ignited emotions that left her breathless and uncertain, questioning where the pretend ended and reality began. After-hours coffee brought them to a secluded table. Each playful touch, each flirtatious glance carried weight, a quiet rebellion against the public pretense and a hint of real desire. Their shared laughter echoed through empty corridors, blending staged fun with genuine connection. Pretend love had evolved, and she felt the thrill of every forbidden gesture, teasing smile, and near touch. A colleague's sudden interruption forced them to revert to public smiles instantly. The contrast between private tension and staged composure left her dizzy, caught between act and emotion. During a rooftop photo shoot, an accidental brush of hands caused an electric shock of sensation. Pretend love was no longer simple, and she realized she was dangerously close to wanting it to be real. Late evening texts carried playful challenges, dares, and flirtations. Pretend love had become a private world of teasing, laughter, and anticipation that neither could escape or control. The weekend retreat escalated their games. Playful shoves, teasing smirks, and staged couple poses blurred into genuine reactions neither expected. Pretend love was thrillingly messy. A quiet corridor encounter led to a shared secret smile. Pretend love had become a dance of nerves, playful tension, and emotions they both pretended not to notice. The city skyline framed their rooftop moment, each glance weighted with unspoken desire. Pretend love was no longer merely a contract, it was a dangerous dance with hearts at stake. By Monday, the office buzzed with rumors. Pretend love had become irresistible, the line between acting and feeling completely blurred, leaving her heart trapped in a web of desire and playful deceit. The following morning she found a note on her desk: "Coffee at noon. Bring your smile." Her pulse quickened. Pretend love had become an addictive game, and she couldn't resist the invitation. At the cafe, he greeted her with a playful grin. Each sip of coffee was accompanied by subtle touches, teasing glances, and laughter that blurred the line between act and desire. During the company event, they posed for photos, hands brushing naturally, smiles effortless. Pretend love had become a dance of familiarity, and she felt the thrill of being genuinely seen. Backstage, he whispered, "You're surprisingly convincing." Her cheeks warmed at the compliment, unsure whether it was praise for the act or a confession of the feelings they both tried to hide. A weekend retreat led to a playful game of trust exercises. He caught her hand mid-fall, a spark of electricity passing between them. Pretend love had transformed into genuine connection in unexpected ways. During a rooftop photo shoot, he jokingly held her close, pretending to pose, but the warmth of his body made her heart race. The act of pretending had become a deliciously real temptation. She laughed at his silly antics, unaware of how much her heart had already succumbed. Pretend love had created a space where vulnerability met humor, teasing, and subtle intimacy. A sudden storm forced them to take shelter under a small awning. Rain soaked the street, yet the moment felt intimate, charged, and impossibly sweet. Pretend love was morphing into something neither expected. After the storm, he offered his jacket, brushing her hair back gently. The gesture, small yet intimate, made her realize the act had become dangerously real for both of them. The following day he texted, "Lunch, don't be late." She smiled despite herself, her heart fluttering at the predictability of excitement, a sign the pretend act had created genuine anticipation. During lunch, playful banter turned into meaningful glances. Pretend love was no longer just for the cameras. It was a private game that had captured their hearts in unexpected ways. Back at the office, a colleague commented on their chemistry. She laughed nervously, realizing the line between fiction and reality had completely blurred in front of everyone. That evening, he guided her to a quiet rooftop. "I hope you're starting to enjoy this," he teased, voice low, eyes unreadable. Pretend love had grown into a thrilling tension neither could deny. A shared joke caused her to stumble slightly, and he caught her effortlessly. Their proximity was intoxicating, and she felt the warmth of his hand linger just a second too long. The next day, a staged photo op forced them to act overly affectionate. Her heart raced as she realized the pretense had grown so natural that she no longer knew where pretending ended and reality began. During an office meeting, his hand brushed hers under the table. Pretend love was dangerously convincing, sending shivers of excitement through her, making every moment electric. A rooftop evening walk led to playful teasing, laughter, and small touches. Pretend love had become a private playground, where each gesture was loaded with hidden meaning and longing. He whispered during a staged rehearsal, "You're better than I expected." She blushed, unsure whether it was praise for the act or for the feelings that had slipped through. The weekend retreat ended with a playful tug-of-war, hands brushing, laughter echoing. Pretend love had created intimacy disguised as games, and she felt herself falling deeper. During a media interview, he subtly held her hand, a touch unnoticed by the cameras, but felt deeply. Pretend love was now a shared secret, intimate and thrilling. That night, a rooftop silhouette revealed him leaning closer than necessary, teasing her with proximity. Pretend love had become dangerously real, the act almost unnecessary. She laughed nervously at his jokes, heart racing at every glance. Pretend love had shifted from an act to a thrilling flirtation she couldn't resist. A sudden text, "Dinner tonight, dress casually." Her pulse quickened. Pretend love had turned into anticipation, and the thrill of the unknown kept her heart on edge. During dinner, playful teasing gave way to stolen glances, lingering touches, and laughter that felt genuine. Pretend love had transformed into something neither could deny. Finally, under the city lights, he held her hand fully. No pretense, no act. Pretend love had blossomed into real affection, hearts aligned where fiction once ruled. As they walked back together, the line between pretend and reality vanished completely. They laughed, whispered, and held each other in a way that made it clear. What started as a charade had become a love they could no longer pretend to ignore.